So a couple of months ago, I put up a video of shots that I've taken with my Nikon D40, and I've gotten tons of messages from people about this particular picture over here. And people pretty much want to know how I did this effect over here with my D40 now. So I figured I might as well just make a video and put it up so you guys can do it. So what you're going to need to pull this effect off, you're going to need DSLR. I'm using the Nikon D40 with the kit lens, or you can just use a normal point and shoot camera that has a shutter priority mode, which is the S mode over here. And you're going to need a tripod or some flat surface to keep your camera on, and maybe a flashlight or a laser pointer to actually, give you the effect. Right, so I'm not going to assume you guys know how a camera basically works, but I'm just going to go through very basic details. There's pretty much two ways you control how much light gets into your camera, and one of them is the aperture, which is on the lens, and the other one's the shutter speed, and I'll show you how both of them actually work. Okay, so what I have here is the normal kit lens that comes with the Nikon D40. It's a Nikon DX lens. It's 18 to 55 millimeters, and it's got automatic and manual focus, no vibration reduction. Now the aperture ring is inside this lens over here, and so if you look through the lens right now, once the lens gets hooked up to the camera can control the opening of the aperture. So that's open and that's small, and the aperture gets controlled in stops. So obviously the bigger the aperture is, the more light you're going to let in to the camera. Okay, so this is the body of the Nikon D40. It's an SLR, so whatever comes in through the lens you can see through here. So the way the shutter works is that you can control the speed of the shutter opening and closing. So the way the shutter works is like this. You push the button on the camera to take the picture, the shutter opens, exposes the film, and then closes after a while. So the longer the shutter is open for, the more light's going to be let in. And the shorter the shutter is open for, the less light's going to be going in. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is shift the camera over to S mode, which is the shutter priority mode, which allows the user to set the shutter speed for the composition. The other thing you need to do is make sure your focus is set to automatic and not manual, because we don't really want to mess with manual focus right now. So if you guys have a D40 or another SLR, go ahead, turn your camera on, put it in S mode, and then in your camera settings on the D40, I'll explain how to do it, is you just push the bottom left hand button over there and make sure your ISO is set to 200. The other thing you want to do is rotate this knob over here until your shutter speed is about, I'd say 5 seconds is more than enough, and now you're set. And also, because it's on autofocus, you want to move you want to make sure the focus area over here is selected in the middle, because that's where you're going to stand in the frame. You're going to be in the middle of the frame. Okay, so now that you've set the appropriate settings on the camera, you can go ahead and mount it on your tripod. Now, one thing that I did forget was that you probably want to put your camera in timer mode so that it doesn't take the picture until 5 seconds after you click the shutter release button. So on a Nikon, the way to do that is click on the info button, click on the bottom left hand button again so you can actually select it, and go down to where it says S right there and change it to timer. In this case it's 2 seconds. And just click on OK. So now you're set. As you can see, the shutter speed is 5 seconds and it's on the timer mode with an ISO of 200. Okay, so now that the camera is set up on the tripod, facing in the direction you want it to, with everything set up on shutter priority mode or the S mode of your camera, all you're going to be doing is standing there, turning your flashlight or your laser pointer on, and just making the motion. So in the case of the picture I did before, I did the infinity symbol, so I just did that. And just keep doing that, and the camera will actually record it as one singular line, and that's how you get that long exposure. Alright, ready? Let's give it a try. Camera set up. I got my flashlight on. The camera's gonna beep for 2 seconds. You turn your flashlight. You hear the shutter goes off, and you're done. Let's view the picture. And that's what we end up with. And that's it. I hope this was a useful tutorial for you guys, and if you have any questions, just go ahead and send me a message.
Don't stop.